Hello, this is Vance, and this is Tuesday, October the 14th, 2014. And these are the CL trades for today using the slow hand method for price action. I didn't do a pre-market this morning, and I didn't do update yesterday. It's a holiday here, so it was a little bit. In Canada, anyways. It was a holiday. Some good movement yesterday, by the way, on the CL. But I did a live session this morning. And I was on for about a couple of hours. And quite frankly, when you do a live session, when I do a live session, I find that I can't do any trading. I just really do a lot of talking. So people are asking me, are you going to do more of these live sessions? I mean, they're okay, but it takes away from that trading. So I'm not going to do one for a little while. So unfortunately, if you don't get a chance to see one of these things, I mean, I'll have it in a recording, but it's 2 hours. And I talked a little bit about trading. I'll talk about other things as well. But if I do them, I'm going to probably do them later in the day. These live sessions, it's going to be after the regular trading hours because I just find that it's too much of an imposition on my trading. And as a result, there was some really good setups today that I didn't take. And like during the early morning, so I'm going to keep the prime areas of trading for myself. So if you want to see that. If you wanted to do some trade, see any of the live sessions, it's going to be later in the day. But that's probably it for the time being. The only reason I did it this morning was because I did one last week and my internet dropped out, and so I kind of rescheduled it for today. But there's some pretty good movement. Thankfully, I got in a couple of trades later on. I'll talk about those a little bit, we'll go from there. Anyway, the first thing this morning, and if you're on that session, I was on here about quarter to 9. Prices came back down to this area. You see, this is right after the open. The open prices came down to this area, and when price dipped down here, I was able to get in on this particular trade, and it came out. I was able to get my first 15 ticks off. It pulled back. It wasn't. I marked it in green. What I was actually expecting, and this is before I got in these lines in here. Let me just show you what happened. This is the overnight high of 85.60. The low was down here. Was 84. 47, 40, yeah, something like 47 by 80, 84.46. So this was a high. We never came back to that overnight high, but price came down here. We had this move up. We had a pull back, so there's one leg back, two legs back, and even 3 legs back. So it's kind of like a tight trading range that it developed into, and you could see price dipped down to here, pulled back, dipped down here again, pulled back, and it just could not broach this area. I mean, it just couldn't get up here. So I was able to get my 15 ticks off here. It pulled back, took my runner, break even +1, moved back up here to this side, and this was a really good short. Now, again, I was talking. I was distracted talking about other aspects of trading, and I missed this. It's a pretty decent short at the top range. I probably would have taken that. I was been looking at it, but I missed it. As you can see, it's a nice, it's a second entry short, by the way, at the top of this trading range. As I said, I don't have this in here yet, but it's you think that because we've had these failures at these areas, and we had these 2 pullbacks, it can't break this area. Maybe a retest, and then maybe go higher. But as you can see, price dropped down here, and once it broached this area right here, it kind of fell down to close to the overnight low. We had a slight pullback. Taking the trade down here, you could have, I suppose, didn't really like the setup, didn't like these overlapping dojis, but when price kind of rebounded back to this area to where it was formerly support, is now acting as resistance, and you can see this is really like a second entry short. Price moved up here, failed, moved up, tried to move up again, and a pretty strong bar. But again, I marked it in green. You're off the EMA, closes below the EMA, and by this time, if you think it's going to be the EMA is acting as resistance, so maybe we're going to be kind of moving down here. And of course, keeping in mind how price is going to react when it gets down to this level again. Maybe this is a setup of a new tight trading range. But as you can see, once price failed down here, it continued to fail. We had first pullback, second pullback. Now this is a second entry long right here. But when you get into something like this, I'm looking for a measured move. And the measured move has got to be like, well, here's a measured move down to here. We have this pullback. So we're down at this area, but then we have this other pullback. And this bar right here, you can see it's a trap. buyers think it's going to take higher, an immediate failure, and it takes a little, one tick right at the top of these ranges right here, and then right off the EMA, and then it falls, and you can see that it didn't quite make the bottom, but I mean, now we're retesting what yesterday's low was. It comes back down to here, and now we have this turnaround. Now, I didn't take this as a trade, but you know, you have this capitulation down here. It's the bottom of this channel. Now you got this channel down here. I pull it down to here. It didn't quite make it. So that's why I was a little bit reluctant to look at this one. But it certainly is. You can see there's capitulation down here. Is there going to be another run? And the other side of it is that we've already had, if this is the bottom of that move, first pullback, second pullback, we're really right at the bottom of it, just by a couple of ticks. So you could have taken a long here. Price moves up. Pulls back the first time, first leg back, second leg back, and you can see these little bars here. Again, these are like a double trap. On a longer time frame, these would be together, but you can see price has gone down here, dipped, and couldn't stay. And as a result, this is a pretty decent area to take it. This is a good trade. We got room to get up to these double tops up here. Even though this one's a little bit lower, there's some room here, and I'm looking here for a measured move. So here's your move up here. You get the first pullback, second pullback, and I'm looking for at least around here somewhere in this neighborhood. And you can see it tested the other side of this channel. Breaks up above the channel, and then we have a failure. So price of a first failure, second failure, a fairly strong bar to go short on. Comes back down to this area, second entry long down here. Again, pulls back, moves its way up, and now you see this is kind of like a tight trading range here. So you have a couple of tests up here, couple tests to the bottom. Are we going to break through? Like most breakouts fail. Did it break out? Nope, can't make it out here. Tests the first time, fails. Second time, can't get out there, fails down to here. Now, again, you can take a trade down in this area. It's above the EMA. We did break this area. Might test down to here before we come back, but as you can see, that there was room to get out to the bottom. So I didn't mark that. I should actually mark that one. So let me mark that. More like a green trade more than anything else. Okay. Room to get out to the bottom, and you can see once it got to the bottom of this channel, again, it retested where your overnight low. So you can see this is a retest of this area. Pulls back, and I like this as a trap right here, above here. Price comes up here. First it tries to go up the first time, fails. It goes up the second time, this immediate failure. There's room to get to where the bottoms are. And you can see it just collapses here. Again, one failure, attempt to go up, fails. Attempts to go up again, another failure. And you can see all the way through here. Now, I was finished by about this time. This is 12, and I was done from this move. But for the rest of the day, like, look at this drop. I mean, price is moving down here. Once it picks up momentum with the trend, any reason to get short. When price pulls back to the EMA or pulls back to this trend channel here, I mean, you have to go short. I mean, that's really the only thing. And we see that every time it pulls back to this area, we have first pullback, second pullback. You almost get convinced of going in this area. But as you can see, just stick with the trend. And this weakness, even here, weakness all the way down through here. It wasn't until like we get down to later on, like this is a 230 before prices finally pull back. So for the rest of the afternoon, we're down. Now, I wasn't trading any of this stuff. I mean, I was finished right in here. But you know, once it got this weakness and once it broke this bottom of this channel right here or this area, price really failed away. So it really turned out to be a real sell-off. I mean, we're at $81, and just to take a look at it, let me take a look at that 1440 chart just to show you perspective. I've showed that in the past. 1440 chart. Let me see if I can pull that up. Okay. Where is that? There you go. So here's the chart, and look at where we are right now. This goes back. Price is down here at 82. Well, below 81, and this is over the last couple of weeks. Look at the fall off in the price of oil. And if you look back, last time it was at $81, was going back to 2 years ago. Last March 2012. That's the last time it was like that, at that level. Here's March 2013 is right in here. And March 2013, so March 2012 was the last time the price was down at this level. It's on 80, 70, so it's way back. May 2012. And we had this, look at the drops that we've had in this area, like on those few days. That's something to keep in mind. Look at the drops that we've had here. This pullback and what happened after that. Pull back like this for a few days and what happened after that. So we have this back and forth. So I would suggest that this is of a larger magnitude, but what we'd be looking for is maybe some support. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. I mean, there's talk about, I just read something on the Chicago Board of Trade, talked about Libya coming back into production. Iraq is starting to sell more oil. They may be loosening sanctions in that area. The U.S. is producing more oil. And Saudi Arabia is looking at cutting production to really buoy up the prices. So they're talking about that. So the price is hovering around, I think the price should be about $75, as well as Libya coming back on stream. So those areas, like, of course, there's sanctions against Libya, but Libya, Iraq sell oil to the Chinese. And if they're getting their oil, they're cheaper. And once they get their oil sold, I mean, they need foreign exchange, and they need the money. So they're going to sell it. And if they sell it, if it's a fire sale because they can't get any money, they're going to sell it for less expensive. So that's the regional idea. That's essentially, that's what they're talking about anyways. When you look at it, that on top of the fact that Europe and the United States are a little bit soft, the equity markets are off, could relate, be talking, that's another impetus as far as the sell-off in oil prices. But that's just short-term stuff, about the short term. All I'm more concerned about is what we do on a day-by-day basis, and that's it. So when you see this, when you see prices unwinding like this, you just have to jump on. I mean, you just have to, look for the pullbacks to those areas, and you have to kind of stay with the trend. Can't trade counter trend in any of this. I mean, once you start moving down here, even at these areas, I mean, there's just really have to really use your intestinal fortitude not to take trades down here in these areas. That's a little different. See, this is a little bit different, areas like this, than it is from down to here, because you can see that there's this back and forth here. So taking a trade here is a heck of a lot different than taking a trade from down here. You can see, because this is a lot more. This is momentum. This is really gathering momentum, and it looks like there's too much weakness. And usually a weakness right into this weakness happened right into the close. So it wasn't until the market closed that we've had this pullback. And this is not small pullback from 230, 81.33 to 82.27. So it was like $1. It bounced back $1 in that period of time, in probably 20 minutes. And there we are right now. So how much of this area is going to be pulled back? It remains to be seen. So you've got a couple ideas. Well, it's interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's DOE report. Keep that in mind. That might have a more influence on the market for tomorrow. But that's it for now. So that's what you have. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is Vance. Bye for now.